The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to know things that are usually unknowable. Get ready for an hour of insight and fascinating entertainment with Dr. Linda Salvin. For nearly 3 decades, Dr. Linda has been one of America's most celebrated psychic readers, metaphysical clinicians, and unmatched talk show hosts, bringing insights and solutions to thousands of people worldwide. Pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's another Starlight Cafe. We're on the Thursday leg of my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday shows. Tuesday, Transformational Tuesday with co-host Sharon Winters. Wednesday is Recovery Wednesday with Candy Finnegan, interventionist. And then me, I do my thing on Thursdays. And as you may or may not know, I started radio in 1994, so I'm not new. I'm just adapting to the digital world of broadcasting, which I'm about 15 years behind in certain goals, but I've been busy doing other things, building my brand and working with people as a psychic healer or medium, and I do a lot of guest spots. And I decided to create my own. So you've got drlindaradio.com where you can hear the shows and past shows 24 hours a day. And we are on Facebook under my Dr. Linda Salvin page, and then on YouTube at Dr. Linda Salvin. So wherever you want, you can find me. And then after about 72 hours after the show is live, you can find us on the 100 platforms out there, which a lot of you have been doing. So I'm getting your emails. And if you wish to email me, it is drlinda at lindasalvin.com. I am bringing on a woman who is going to blow your mind financially, spiritually, personality wise. She came to me as a client, but I've learned from her. I just signed up with her program, and you're going to want to hear about this program because she's tapped into something out there where I tap in psychically. She tapped in business wise, especially with the digital marketing. So without any more wasting time, because the show goes fast, let's bring on Ashley Ann Jones from Arkansas.
Hi.
I'm in California. Hi, girl. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. Overly productive.
Well, no, you can't complain, but you've worked your butt off to get where you are after going through trials and tribulations like everybody. But the brilliant thing is when you found me through a mutual friend of ours, Star Monroe, who found me when he was doing the research on the candles and blah, blah. And then you came. Then you piqued my interest because I got to know a little bit of what you're doing. And you asked me a few questions. I'm like, she's got something there. It's not time, but when it's time, I'll show up. So I took her seminar a couple of weeks ago, and that's, of course, why I also got ill. It's fabulous. You can promote the next one here towards the end as we get into it. But give us a little background of your work, your education, because you went from average to super success to multi-millions to helping thousands of people grow their brand, their life, their pocketbook, and their faith. It's all included. So we're going to bring success with spirituality today into this topic. But let's start with you.
Yeah. So, okay. So the Cliff Notes. So I did,
most of the time you're teaching. Now it's about you.
I did everything that they say you're supposed to do, right? Like when you go into the machine, as far as, you go to school, you get good grades, you stay out of trouble, you go get a job.
I don't know about the trouble parts for me, but go ahead. Were you that perfect? I was not.
I didn't
but
make
it sounds good. Go on.
But I did all those things that they tell you to do, right? And I had this revelation that the machine was broken. So once I graduated, and I have a bachelor's in finance and I have a master's in business. And anyway, I go into corporate America, and the company that I'm working for is leaning out. Also, when I graduated, it was during the '08 recession. So
young.
so
I'm old enough to be your mother. Go ahead.
But if you remember during the recession, like everybody was like losing their jobs, and
well, the real estate markets and the big companies were going under. Yeah.
It was nuts. So they laid off a bunch of people that were there that were getting higher pay because, they bring in all the young people because we're dumb and we work for way less.
Nothing, right.
Yeah, and they can hire like 5 of us for one of them. But even in that, I was literally watching people get laid off every day.
What kind of business was it or company? What was their
a marketing and data collection company.
Okay.
And so, and I work for some pretty big brands as far as being able to read the data and the information and say, this is what you should be doing, not doing, those sorts of types of things. But it was terrifying. And I was, I'd always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I thought that it would happen for me much later in life, like in my 40s. I thought I'd put in 20, 25 years at a job, then I'd go ahead and, get started later in life on that journey. But something just kept pulling at me, and then I just started paying attention to what was.
That's your spiritual tug. That's where the spirit comes in, because your soul, you were here with a purpose, and you woke up, or something not nudged you to say, hey, there's more to life than this, and you're it to help get us there. One of them. Excuse my voice. I'm still getting
it's fine.
But you have hi, Gina. Oh, Gina's. Would you suggest someone to go into digital marketing these days? We'll get to that country. Yes, Gina and I go back a few years, and she and a partner of hers have offered me an opportunity that got stuck because of the strike, but that'll come later. Right, Gina? And country, yes, we'll get into the digital aspects, but I want to hear Ashley's story first, because during 07, 08, I was on the largest FM talk station with CBS before they sold out to Odyssey, and they were closing down talk radio. But I remember being on in the late 08s, and all of a sudden the numbers, the calls, everything was starting to diminish, just like the outside world was falling apart. Customers, calls, radio, spending money, it all crashed. And you were in the middle of it, but you saw the opportunity.
Absolutely. One of my professors, he told me, he said, if you can start a business and make it now, he said, you'll never go out of business. And I'm very glad that he gave me that advice. I had already done my feasibility study. I was already moonlighting, right, as in event design and interior design. And I'd got
enough. Anything you don't do?
Oh, it's a lot of stuff I don't do.
Really? Your husband brings you water. I mean, come on.
But, everybody has their gifts and their talents, right? And I just understood my gifts very well. And so I said, you know what? And my daddy was very, very supportive. My daddy was big time. He was like, baby, you can do it. I'll help you with it. And he was like, if you fail, he's like, you have 2 degrees. You just go back. He's like, you just go back and get a job. So it came time for me to renew my contract. And I said, I'm out of here. And something else I did not like working when I was in corporate America. And I want to be clear, I'm not poo-pooing on anybody that has a 9-to-5. If you are doing something and you love it and it's fulfilling, keep going.
Not everybody's cut out for 9-to-5. Musicians aren't. I'm not. You're not.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't. And it was okay, so look at my nails right now. Okay, I'm a fancy nail girl. I do the most with the nails, right? And with the hair. Well, you can't have these types of nails in corporate America, right?
No, they won't allow it.
Right.
You got a dress code.
Right, like my natural hair is really, really big and curly, like a lioness, right? Well, now my hair is distracting, but there's another girl next to me and she has hot pink hair, but somehow hers isn't distracting and mine is. So it was all those little microaggressions too.
Was it also racial?
Yeah, definitely. Big time combined with everything. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself, because at least I was working like 60 hours a week too for this company. So I started kind of putting 2 and 2 together. And I said, everyone that was living the way that I aspired to live to, I noticed that they all had a business or a side hustle. So I was like, and I really thought about it and I said, well, how many people have I ever seen like save their way to $1 million? How
Not
many?
many.
Right. And then think about it. Your 9 to 5 has a lot of control over you. And I wanted time freedom with my life. So I don't want to have to ask somebody, can I take a sick leave day off so I can take my mom to chemo? I don't want somebody to be in control.
How's she doing? I know you've blessed her.
She's healing. She's doing better. So I'm ready for her to ring the bell. That's what I'm ready for.
Okay.
Ring the bell.
Right.
But you know what I mean? When you start thinking about that, like my quality of life wasn't what I wanted it to be.
No, you were frustrated. It's like wearing a jacket that's too small. You need to get out. When I first got out of grad school in 1977 with my master's in public health, which is like an MBA only for health instead of business. It's all the same. Like my boyfriend at the time was an MBA, and he said, Linda, instead of coffee beans, you're looking at disease. It's the same theory with data and practice and marketing. But I was in aerospace, my first job, and I would work first and second shift to help the people because I was doing industrial hygiene, but I didn't get the raise. I didn't get the promotion. I gave like you gave. You put in those 60 hours, and they don't always see that and promote you or raise you.
Right. Or you do all of it so they can give you a 50-cent raise at the end of the
or
year.
they go to the upper management and say, I created this, but you don't get the credit. They take the credit. So go on. I understand.
So
it's hard.
So all of that, I struck out on my own and I said, we're going to give it a try. So I got started with the event design and production company. And from there, I learned I was really, really gifted at social media, monetization, and conversion. And so other people in my industry would come and ask me for business advice. Then I started getting invited to give like trainings and workshops. And one day I just looked out and there were people who were outside of the event production industry. They were just like, no, this information is really good for businesses in general. And I also had a colleague I had met at the chamber, and she was paying this business coach at the time $5,000 a month.
My brain went on fire.
But she would always call me and ask me for advice. She would always call me and ask me for tips and information. And finally, one day I just asked her, said, why do you keep calling and asking me stuff? And you're paying this guy $5,000 a month.
Pay me.
Right. But she said, everything that you tell me works. And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, okay, I'm going to move into consulting. And so I still have the event design and production company, like right now to this day, because I got to get the creative stuff, like out of me. I got to get it out. But that's how I started like 14 years ago. Then it took me a couple years to realize that I needed to focus in specifically on digital marketing and social media because everybody didn't have the knack to understand it the way that I did.
Because a lot of people, I'm very right brain. I write, I talk, I play guitar when I have time, or I had 2 record deals along the way, but I'm also an epidemiologist. So I'm like you, I can think, but I can create. And you have to be able to balance. That's the spiritual aspect. If you don't, you explode, you get depressed, you turn to drinking, food, gambling, sex, whatever, to get away from self. But yourself has evolved, and that's the spiritual blessing. Just like you said, you had a knack, or people said everything you tell them is right. I didn't know I was psychic till people said everything you say happens. I'm like, what? I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. It was after a plane crash many years ago in 81 that I opened up. But we're given opportunity, just like you were given an opportunity for whatever reason you were in the data company. I don't want to say what it was, but you saw what the other people probably saw, but didn't have the courage to get out. A lot of people are afraid to take that step. I know people asked me, how did I get into psychic work if I left corporate America and I was working in universities? I did all that stuff, cancer research, AIDS education, all that. But when you have faith and trust in yourself, or if it's not yourself, it's a higher power, a God, whatever is out there, right? You put that faith. Your dad gave you courage. And it was just like with me. One day, I didn't know, but I knew I needed out, and I just went for it. Somebody told me I should go to Psychic Friends Network. I said, what's that? I was then in their infomercial, one door open, radio open. When you let go, let God. When you let go, let it happen spiritually and get out of the way of trying to manipulate it. Yes, we fall down, do we not? Yes, we have moments of like, why am I doing it? I'm throwing it away. I've had it. I'm done. Then you take a little break and then you're fresh again. Ashley, people need you. I need you. I got to make an appointment to fulfill what I just did 2 weeks ago. But people need you because you are gifted in a way that the average brain can't comprehend technology. It's a gift with a lot of people to understand all this stuff. Putting together the radio station, putting together shows, putting together teleseminars that you do. That not everybody has the ability to comprehend the moving pieces to make it happen. You had how many people in that webinar? 100 and something? 200?
Yeah, and that
300?
was like a small one, and on our larger ones we'll have like a couple thousand people in there when I do have.
Excuse me, I'm so modest. I don't even know. But
No,
I mean, what you created.
But I want to piggyback on something you said when you were like when you're following spirit, when you're following God, because it's really true that I think people get messed up because they're trying to control how God is going to send it to them.
And that's great because God's will and our will are not the same. Correct. Yeah. If we follow the spirit, now I'm not talking religious. There's just something out there, whatever your God or higher power is. That was yesterday's show. We talked about religion versus spirituality. That's another show you guys can look up for the Wednesday show, but it's the same concept. If you get out of the way and let it unfold, the moving parts will come together. The people, your team, your village, your co-workers, your people, your clients. It starts to happen when you're not steering the wheel. I often compare that to like Toto opening up the little curtain, and there's the little man pretending to be this Oz driving a little wheel. What's Oz? We're all scared. We got small, but he found the truth, just like you. We're on the yellow brick road spiritually, but you're helping people. You're of service. That's the main fulfillment, is it not? When somebody says, wow, Ashley, you really helped me. Wow, Ashley, it works. Like that woman. Wow, Ashley. And now you've got 3,000. That was probably like, 15 years ago. It was like, oh, that'll never happen. And then when it happens, or all the TED Talks, I mean, keep going about your background. You're everywhere. People, her email address is right here at King Ashley Ann. And where is that? That's on YouTube.
Oh, that'll take you can find YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Just go find her. You won't regret it.
I'm out there. I'm in the social media streets. Just don't leave Dr. Linda now. Don't do that.
I don't know the technique.
Hang out with both of us.
Yeah, we can make a good team. Maybe we'll put together a Friday show. But anyway, the passion, the drive, the voice, the intuition, the idea, and I don't like the word manifestation. I'm beyond that because I think it's an idea and we create and whatever, but everybody's got their own jargon. You still have to do the work. You had the idea, but you had to make it happen. A lot of people don't want to work, do they?
Yeah, a lot of people want rewards and they don't want the responsibility, or they don't want the work with it. However, I think it shifts a little bit if we can help more people get to what fulfills them. Because if you're doing something and it's fulfilling to you, it kind of creates like this supernatural drive to do it, if that makes sense. And it does,
but that's the soul and the spirit coming together in the physical world where you see yourself. And I think that's what you teach and I teach and others help people teach. Just like we have a listener today named Country, and he wanted to know if it's too late to get involved with the digital marketing world. Why don't you explain? It's not. It's right on time.
There's not a better time. And this is the thing I'll tell anybody. If you're doing anything in business, the foundations and principles of business, they're always going to stay the same. Just the channels shift, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was growing up, everybody, you advertise through radio and television and billboards and mailers and church fans and stuff like that. Then by the time I got kind of like high school, college, right, that's when it was like MySpace, and then Facebook emerged, and then some years later there came Instagram, and now all of a sudden, because do you remember like back in the day, you would maybe have a list of websites you went to a day. Well, then when social media came along, everybody stopped going to the individual websites. They would go to the one social media app or to the channel.
Everything's evolved.
Yes, and
everything's evolved. Because you're right. I was on radio when I was on AM and FM. That's called terrestrial radio. That was before Sirius XM and the other one that they merged. I can't even think right now. I don't want to. But before satellite radio, now we're all over the internet. Now we stream. It just keeps growing. But I want to say something that I'm proud of. Your daddy helped you. My father, thank God, is 94 years old. When he was probably in his 30s, when he was building his company back in the 70s, maybe he was 40, I don't remember. But Steve Jobs, who created Apple, was a customer of my father's company for parts to build Apple.
Wow.
And my father, you'll like this, because my dad then, I was in college. I don't remember where this happened, in the house, whatever. He was holding the paper, the newspaper, and I ran through. He goes, Linda, I said, what? He goes like this. The way of the future is computers. I said, okay. Look at us now. Who knew? Who knew? The Jetsons were ahead of us. They did telemarketing back on TV with the Jetsons. So where did it all come from? It's all an idea somewhere, but we're here. To answer the question, it's not too late, because I'm going to be one of Ashley's customers, clients, students, to learn more digital marketing for my needs in getting out the brand. That's her passion. That's her gift, people. You want to contact her country. You want to go to this girl. She will put you on the map.
I love it. I wake up every day and I couldn't think of anything else that I'd want to be doing outside of throwing glitter and flowers on stuff. Right?
But isn't it true spiritually, because you have the passion to help, but you also have the knowledge to understand it doesn't feel like work. You were probably more tired, more frustrated on the 9 to 5 that you were feeling you didn't belong, versus maybe putting in 100 hours a week at this, but you don't have the same depression, anxiety, upset. It takes its toll in different ways, but the benefits
it even starts to physically manifest in your body.
It does.
With different sicknesses and illnesses. And so for me, if I'm on the wrong path, like normally my spine, I have a wonky spine, and all my doctors told me I was supposed to be in a wheelchair permanently, and I'm up walking around just fine. But I will notice if I'm off, if I'm off, or if I'm going down the wrong path, or
they'll throw you down.
Oh yeah, like all of a sudden, my back is out. I can't. I'm talking about everything. Even if I'm dating, well, I'm not dating anybody now because I'm married. But even when I was single, if I was
but I kind of predicted that might happen. Why did you give me a?
You did.
She goes, I've seen this guy. I don't know. Oh, you're gonna marry him? What?
You did, y'all. She predicted down to the month that I would meet my husband. So I don't know if everybody that's listening knows Dr. Linda reads voices. So we were talking, I was doing a consultation for her about a candle company. And she starts reading my voice, and I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, the guy that you're with. She's like, no, that's not it. She was like, she's like, you're gonna meet your husband in July. And I'm like, what? She's like, no. She's like, you're gonna meet your husband. You guys are gonna get married. She was like, watch. And sure enough,
Did you get married last year? Was it last year?
Yeah, we got married last November. Sure enough, I met my husband in July, and he knew pretty quickly that I was his gal that he wanted to marry. And it was so funny. So I reached back out to her, and of course she knew she was right. She knew she was right. She didn't need me to tell her that she was
I'm as right psychically as you are with the digital world. You put the two together, we can make some major changes.
I was just like, so I was like, you remember you told me I was gonna meet this man, and we're gonna get married. I was like, yeah, he showed up. Absolutely. I was like, it was so funny because I wasn't even expecting it, but yes. Yep.
No, people hate me when I say, no, this isn't it. No, she's wrong. He's wrong. It's not going to happen. What do you mean? What do you mean? And I never hear from him. 2 years later, guess what? It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Is he into IT also? Is he into the digital?
Well, not on the digital marketing side. His 9 to 5 is an engineer. And then he does, all the real estate stuff as a contractor. So
you both got the intelligence going, because soulmates will live, love, work together. So you're blending.
Yeah.
What sign is he? What sign are you? I got to take it away from you for a minute.
He's a Libra, and I'm a Taurus.
Okay, so
And look, guess what? We both are born the same day of the month. So I'm May 16th and he's October 16th.
Wow, it's almost an opposite. That's amazing. So he's got to have earth in him, and you've got air or fire in you. We could do your chart someday to see where it blends, because the actual sun sign isn't the only thing that brings it together. You've got to have Mercury for communication. Mars for that sexy feel and the power, and then you've got your Venus is for the love is. So that's where we see all this coming together. People think, oh, it's just a sun sign. No, it's the whole thing. But anyway, they met. How'd you meet him? Out of the blue. You weren't even looking.
And nope, at a gas station. I was pumping my gas and he drove up in his big white truck and he jumped out the truck. And I just think, I was like, man, he is cute. I was like, he is fine, but I didn't say anything to him. I was just like, good looking man right there. Something else before I tell the story. Something else that she told me, y'all. She told me that I already knew my husband, and I did. We had just lost contact because he moved to Dallas. So he jumps out the truck. I didn't recognize him though because he had a hat on.
Oh my God, I forgot that part.
Yeah, you did. You told me that, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, what you talking about?" So anyway,
I'm getting chills. This is great.
He jumped.
Your true soulmate.
He jumped out the truck, and I'm like, "Oh, he is fine." I finished pumping my gas, hop in the car. I turn around, look back, and smile. I want to take one more look. I was like, "Well, thank you, Lord, for letting me see that today," or whatever. But I guess he was looking, and so I left, and he stopped pumping gas. He ran 2 red lights and called me at my next stop. And he pulls up. I'm in the parking lot getting ready to go into the store because I was headed to a family cookout. And he's like, isn't your cousin such and such? Because your cousin used to date my cousin. And he takes off his hat and because guys will say, don't I know you? And it's like, you don't know me, but we really did know each other. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, have you been? Because we hadn't saw each other in years. And apparently he told me the last time he saw me was like 6 months before that, but he didn't want to come up and talk to me because he had been working underneath the house and he was all dirty and stuff like that. He was like, he thought he'd see me again sooner. And I was like, nah, I was like, I'm always on a plane working or whatever. So anyway, he came into the store with me, gave me a couple suggestions. We did our shopping. He was a gentleman, helped me load everything in my car. And then he was finally like, are you going to give me your number? So I was like, yeah, I'll give you my number or whatever. He called me the next day. We set up a date for that Monday. We went to dinner and
that was it.
That was it.
So what was the date you guys reconnected at the gas station? Do you remember the date versus when you finally got married?
July, let's see.
Was
July 3rd. It was July 3rd.
The year before?
Mm-hmm.
It happens, people. It does. If you don't want to know the truth, don't call me. Anyway, let's go back to Ashley. Now that she's got her whole life, and you look at life as a wheel, you want your relationships, your marriage, your soulmate, your business, you need your finances, you need your spiritual growth, your health, your parents, all of it fits in the wheel. Most of your spokes are intact. There's always something that we have to fix and tweak, but most of what you wanted, you've created, you've done. There's still more, which is reaching more people and helping more people and whatever. Speaking of like the white truck, you bought your mother a white Land Rover.
I did. Her dream car is a white Range Rover. And so this is how I ended up buying the Range Rover.
Because you made money helping people doing what you were told to do spiritually.
Yeah. And people don't believe me when I tell them that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, God, God is my higher power. That's what I call my higher power, God. And this was probably like 2015, 16 or something, somewhere in there. And was like, get online and start teaching business. And I was like, what? It was like, get online and start teaching business. I didn't expect that much to come from it. I had no idea all of this was in store for me. No clue. But during that time, there was this Facebook ad scam. And they would charge people thousands. I'm talking about $10,000, $20,000 to come in and say, I'm going to market your business. I'm going to do it through Facebook. So they were.
I remember that.
They were running these worldwide campaigns. And what that was is they would go. So on the ad circuit, different country traffic is ranked in tiers. So like the US, Canada, UK, they be considered tier 1, and so on by the country. So at the time, this is how long ago this was, the ads manager was called Power Editor. This is how long ago this was. And it was extremely complicated and very frustrated, and they were counting on the fact that people were ignorant and didn't understand what was going on. So what they would do is they would run an ad for the company, but they would run it to maybe like the Philippines and India, and I don't know,
so they did their job, but it did nothing for the buyer.
Right. And so now the business owner is frustrated. They're depressed because they're like, well, 20,000 people saw this, 2,000 people liked it, but nobody wanted to buy. Nobody came into my store, because they have no idea that these marketers are running these worldwide campaigns. And so this person would never be a good candidate to purchase for you anyway. And now they've fulfilled their contractual obligations, right? Fulfilled, even though they haven't fulfilled crap. So even if you try and people go to the bank, to try and say, hey, they didn't actually render the service.
Get your money back.
You can't get your money back either, because now the company can turn around and say, no, look, we ran 70 ads for them. Yeah. We did this, we did that. It was horrific. So when I came online, I came on teaching people how to run ads properly through Facebook and Instagram. And I was like, and even if you are going to hire someone to do your ads, well, this is what you need to know and understand so that they can run the ads for you. And you can actually go in and read a report and see if it's actually happening or not.
Does your company, once they hire you, like I took your first introductory course, signed up. Now I got to get into the program with you or whoever I'm going to work with. Hopefully you. I don't want to really. I need to be with you. I'll blow the others. No,
I got you.
The technique is to help us out there grow, because you found the formula that works, and that's what you're teaching. And if people like Country, who asked earlier, I don't know what his company might be or what he might want to do, but if he signs up, he too would be given the tools on what to do to implement on social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rebel, whatever they all are out there. But there's a technique, because it's people you that get to the top, and other people are always like, pay me $120, I'll get you 50,000 people. It's okay, I got all the likes, but yeah, you're right. Where are the viewers? Where are the sales? I need to know what works. And that's why you're on the show, because people watching have an interest or listening. They want to market. What's the secret? And that's what you pay or hire Ashley for. So give out your email again, spell it out for those that may not be watching but listening, how they can contact you if they want to learn or retain your services.
So I have something better than an email. So at least
you do.
At least once a month on Sundays, and this is the training that you attended. I'm very dedicated to this. I started doing this probably about 18 months ago, because we all know there's a lot of scammers out here. So every at least once a month on a Sunday, I'm committed to doing a full-on workshop that takes you through the process of establishing yourself online.
And it's 4 hours, people, but it goes fast. Yeah. You're not bored. She's funny. She says hello. She talks to you, but the information, I took screenshots. I haven't even put that together yet because I got sick, but you will be overwhelmed by this woman. Go on.
Yeah, it's very detailed, y'all. This is not some fluff and nutter coming here and I'm going to tell you I have this amazing secret and never tell you what the secret is. That's not how this works. So all you have to do is go to planwithashleyAnn.com. So that's PlanAshleyAnn.com. And you'll see a little calendar there. You'll be able to register for the next upcoming training. And like Dr. Linda said, it is 4 hours, y'all, but I promise you it's worth it, because this is the reality of the situation. No one can tell you how to monetize social media in 30 minutes.
No.
And we have to get out of the mindset of thinking that there does not have to be some type of effort, right? Is it easier to monetize social media than building your business old school, feet on the street like we had to do? Yes. But you're also going going to have to put in a little time equity and a little sweat equity. You may have to learn a new terminology. You may have to learn a new software. That's okay. You may have to spend some time researching your target audience, but that's really how we make money. And if people would be honest with people, they would tell them, no, you have to build a target audience and you have to build a list if you really want to make money online. But these fake gurus don't want to tell you that because they want to continue to juice you for $100 here, $1,000 there, $5,000 here, $10,000 there. But the reality is the majority of us that make money online, we have a list and we can text and email our list, and that's how we're making our sales.
Stop there for a second, because I want you to help the listeners or the viewers down the line. Like when I give testimony, you gave testimony of my reading to you. Give testimony of 3 or 4 of your clients that are making $1 million.
Oh gosh,
a year, 100,000 a month. When they had 3,000 a month, toot your horn.
Yeah. So
hi, CJ. I'm Dr. Linda.
Sweat does secure the bag. That program didn't even exist when we first started working together. Tay is one of my clients that does over $10 million a year. Dr. Jake Taylor, over $10 a year, over $10 million a year doing insurance. Marketing by Monray. She actually teaches people how to market online. So I'll help anybody. I don't care. People like, you would train your competition, but I don't see her as competition because my clients are my clients, and she can reach the people that are going to be attracted to her. So we did our first $100,000 a month together, first $1 million a year. Earth and Escapes. She does actual like skincare products. So dark circles, toner, moisturizer. She was making them at home. She's been able to leave her 9 to 5. She has had $1 million. Our first year working together, I think she did a little bit over $250,000 together. Purchased new home, her and her husband. Dr. Yolanda Lindsay, she's an esthetician and a dermatologist. So we were able to go through the program so she could start selling her own products, digital consultations, being able to book more speaking engagements, 25.
And on. So
I got a lot.
Yeah. Ashley's got the secret. I'm going to be talking to her about my radio, my candles, my reading, everything I've built over the last 35 years. And Ashley said, don't you get a little tired of doing all that when you can do it this way? It's like, okay. It's just taking time for me to figure out, okay, how do I get to that bridge? Because
I will say this,
make space.
In your defense, when she was winning this humongous award, metaphysical award, and I was like,
remember that?
Yeah, I do. I remember, and I was like, okay. I was like, you're really busy right now, but I'm like, when everything comes down, I'm like, come back to me, and we can get things set up.
And guess what? I came back.
You did. But you kind of have an advantage over other people too, because you're psychic. You can read people and tell if they're full of crap or not too. Not
always. I've been burned. I have gotten into some scams, which I have regretted or I didn't see coming. Or once I got into it, I thought, get me out. Actually, here's a new psychic scam that just started last month. I got an email from somebody named Rose who wanted to know if I would do readings at her wedding and how much would I charge and blah, 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 blah. So I wrote back how many people, and then she wasn't going to pay me for what she wanted at 25 people. I said, no, that's not going to work. So I gave her a quote for 12 people to do an hour's worth of work. I'm not going to, whatever. Okay, it was in the budget because one of their friends was paying for the entertainment and the readers, blah, blah, blah. They were going to send me a cashier's check, registered cashier's check before the wedding, and we would meet for dinner, blah, blah. Well, don't you know, one of the psychic companies I am affiliated with put out an email the night before that check came FedEx. That check was for $3,500. I just tore it up into 1,000 pieces because it turned out they were soliciting psychics off this line. They got our home address and our emails because we're posted publicly. And we were all being led to believe we're going to be reading these people. As it turns out, once you cash that check, what had happened, and I did get the second email, was, the person wrote the check wrong. You're going to have to cash it, but then refund us through Venmo, the balance. But it was all part of this gimmick. Luckily, I read that email. The check came the next day. I contacted the company. And I mean, I could get my PI on top of it. He found out how bogus it is. They're coming out of Nigeria, whatever. But at first, it was so clean and they're slick. And actually, as you know, there's a very clean, convincing manner in the presentation where you almost question, is this too good to be true? But I've done weddings, so I figured, why not? But then I read that email, thank goodness, and then I caught it. Otherwise, they would have stolen everything from my bank. But you're correct.
And the other thing they do is they'll send those checks to people, and somehow they'll do it with the money orders or with the checks, and they'll take it and they'll clear out
everything in your account, and they don't understand. I just tore everything up. It was in the trash last night. So, but that happens. That's not going to happen if you go to Ashley. If you go to Ashley, you're going to make so much money you won't even care if you got scammed at one point. You will. Don't take that with the grain. Just take that with a grain of salt. But no, actually, there's most of us have been hit one time or another because out there, and
myself included. That was one of the reasons I started doing this, because I got scammed. I remember paying for this course. There was this app a long time ago called Periscope, and
I remember that. Are they not around anymore?
No, they're gone. They're out of there. I remember paying for a course so I could, I'm always a student. I always feel like I can learn. I never feel like I just know everything. And long story long, this course, was full of horse manure is what this course was. It was a bunch of arbitrary modules. They were just telling everybody to go and be a consultant or get a t-shirt company and just all kinds of stupid stuff. Then they were like, all you have to do is make a post on social media. You just make the post and the people are just going to show up and buy. And I'm like, no, that's not how any of this works.
If it was that easy, we'd all be doing it.
Right. And this girl was charging people thousands of dollars for horse manure. But the one thing that it did teach me is that if she had the audacity to get out there and offer nothing for thousands of dollars, I surely should have the audacity, to get out.
Offer something for thousands of dollars. You're right.
Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, so that was the one thing. It gave me confidence, because at first people had been asking me to put together a program for years, and I just was like, oh no, that's not for me. I didn't feel like I knew enough, you know what I mean? Or that, which I know people think that's crazy when I say that, but I didn't think, I feel like I still needed to hone.
No, we all feel insecure, or we doubt our abilities until we get into it. I wake up and I've been doing psychic work over 35 years, and I still wonder, am I psychic? Do people even care? Am I still and then something happens and I pop into psychic mode, and I'm still doing it. We doubt ourselves. That's only human. We have our insecurities. People think, oh, they've got it all together. You have fears. You don't know if you're liked. You don't know if you're good at cooking this, or you don't know if you belong over there. I mean, we all doubt. That's why the word exists. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has an internal world, people. That's where the spirit lives. Our soul is not our mind, it's not our body, and it's not our emotions. The soul is what we came into life with, and we're here for a purpose. Ashley Ann found hers. I found mine. You can find yours. And every time you hear any of these shows, I hope it enlightens you a little bit more. The scams, going back to the scams for a moment, during lockdown, especially the Bitcoin, I got caught in the Bitcoin. I believe there's, they've been busted and the FBI's on it and they found the whole ring. I mean, but it's scary out there because you don't know who's real, and I can tell you Ashley Ann is real because I know who she came from, and I know this little circle a little bit, but the truth is I took the program. I sat for 4 hours. I listened. I was shocked. Some I knew, some I thought, oh, this is going to take a long time. Then I thought, no, it's going to be fun because it's going to take away a lot of the other energy I'm putting out spinning wheels that's not working as much. Like you said, the old brick and mortar doesn't work. It's slower. This, I think, will be fun, whatever it is I'm doing. One more time, give them that one email address for this show, for the program.
Yes, y'all go to Plan with Ashley Ann, PLANWITH.
SHLEYANN. If you have questions, call me, people. Dr. Linda at lindaselfie.com. I'll get you to Ashley Ann. No problem. I know how to reach her. She's a little hard to reach, though. She doesn't always respond because she's so busy, as you can see, helping so many people. But on a spiritual level, if we're mind, body, spirit, I believe the soul enters the day we were born, and that when we get that spanking and we cried, that's the soul awakening, that the soul enters, and the soul leaves the day we leave this planet. We go on to the next life. So your soul purpose has always been guiding you to help others, but you didn't know what that vehicle would be. You ended up in business, you're still creative, and now you've got this huge opportunity. And where's the world going? It's all digital.
Yeah.
Money's going to be digital, housing, everything's digital. How can you not benefit from digital marketing, people? This is your go-to gal. This is Ashley Ann.
Number one, marketing, we got to be where people are. And I don't think people realize how much time people spend on like social media and podcasts and all of that stuff. I mean, y'all, like the average American right now spends about 75 minutes a day on social media. And
it's become another addiction as well, where some people aren't even socializing because they're so tuned into the dopamine fix. There's the other side of it too.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I think if you factor in TikTok, I think that number is higher than that, because TikTok has mastered giving people those dopamine hits so that they want to stay there all the time.
And reality is we are still human. We still like to touch. We still like to communicate. We still want to love. We still want to balance, people. You have God, you have soul, you have mental, you have emotional, you have physical, but find the balance. You don't have to watch I'm one pebble of sand in the world with my little channel. Overall, Ashley Ann has a bigger footprint. She's been doing it longer. You want to start, you'll get your footprint out there, and eventually it will grow if you take the steps like Ashley Ann's going to teach to get to the next level if you want it. But it goes down to faith, trust, listening, be willing to accept that there's something greater than yourself out there. That's how I did it after the plane crash, and I didn't want to go back to public health. I couldn't. I was too frazzled, and I was psychic, and I was out of my body. I thought, okay, God, what do you want me to do? That's not quite the way I worded it. And I threw my hands up in the air, and psychic stuff and radio opened, and my doors opened, movies, books. I mean, because I let go. I didn't say I have to do this, because that wasn't working. Same with you. It didn't work in 9 to 5, and you were like outgrowing it. There's probably some of those people you worked for back then that are so envious of you, girl. If they knew how you have created this monster, this kingdom of yours, I bet they would be really jealous.
You know what? I would hope that they would, if it's something that they wanted to do, I would hope that they would reach out, and I'd be happy to help them, because there were definitely people that told me I was crazy.
We'll let them pay you for the knowledge. They'd have to come back.
They told me it wouldn't work. Of course. At the time, back in the day, I was engaged to this guy, and he laughed in my face when I told him I wanted to start my own business. He actually laughed in my face and said that no one was going to pay me to do this. And clearly I've gotten the last laugh, but that was part of the reason I was so comfortable in letting go of that relationship, right? Who wants to be with somebody that doesn't believe in you? I want everybody to understand this. The vision that you have, that is your vision. Do not expect anybody else to buy into it. Your mama may not buy into it. Your daddy may not buy into it. Your kids, your neighbors, your classmates, they may not buy into it. And it's okay, because it's yours. It's for you to fulfill.
And I believe that God gives us these ideas for us to do it. We've got about 2 minutes left in the show, Ashley, and I do want to talk to you further. If people learn to be still, for I am God. Get quiet for a moment. Remember, I always say, praying is talking to God, listening is the meditation. So when you're meditating, you hear people. We've got so much noise in our head and distractions everywhere, whether at the gas station and a hunky looking man pops up, or if you're online scrolling, or you're listening and you're talking, or you're juggling, or whatever. Take 5 minutes, take 2 minutes, just get quiet, and maybe you will hear everything. You're very welcome, Renaissance, anytime. Can I have you come back sooner than later?
I would love to come back, Dr. Linda.
I think you can do more of Success Spirit and promote your offers. And I would love to bring you back. I'm going to be traveling in October. Maybe what we'll do is a pre-recorded show for that week. I'll talk to you about that. But people, it's at the end of the show today. My guest, the amazing Ashley Ann Jones.
Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you. Thank you.
now got to pick her brain about my candles. It's time to move that again. And the candles, my psychic services, everything's at lindasalvin.com, or the toll-free number will appear at the end of the broadcast. So we're going to wrap it up. Ashley Ann, one more time, put it out there.
Yes, y'all go to planwithashleyAnn.com. You will see a little button. You can push it and you can register for the next upcoming training. And if you miss it this month, we'll come to the one next month. I'll try and do them at least once a month.
It's worth every minute of that 4 hours. That's the end of the show, everybody. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. My guest again, Ashley Ann Jones, for your digital marketing genius. That's why she's the king. And you don't want to miss her personality. She's just the best. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday with Transformational Tuesday with Sharon Winters and myself. We'll be talking more about some of the health products to help detox your body from glyphosates. In the meantime, have a nice weekend. I'm Jewish. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed today's program with Dr. Linda. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.